Hi, this is Dr. Sage Breslin, and this is Wisdom Wednesdays, my special series on my journey with cancer, video number 47. So, we have been on baby watch, and today is the day of induction. So, we know that this discomfort and fatigue is going to finally be over, and a whole different, chaotic structure will begin tomorrow. So, gosh, I think that in recent videos, I've talked more probably about experiences that I've had that very quickly have led me to insights about how those experiences might resonate with leaders and leaders of families, companies, communities. And they've been brief. I think today my post is a bit more personal. In fact, I had noticed some resistance and hesitation in sharing what I'm about to say, but also know that it's a reality, and that if it's a reality for me, it's likely a reality for someone else, and that it might be helpful. So I just thought I would describe some things that I have been noticing, and maybe some of the wisdom that I am gleaning, allowing myself to glean as well. So, since the transplant, I would say a lot of the time my interactions at least start with some review of how I'm doing, what I'm experiencing, what's happening for me, how I am in the cancer journey, what's going on with me, what my treatment's like, all of that, right? And in some ways, that has been challenging because a lot of the time my answers aren't what people want to hear. I have one dear colleague who asks me every time he sees me, are you better now? Do you feel better now? And it's such an innocent question. And yet my response is sort of. I know that people want to know that the transplant was worth it. They want to know that such a grueling process has resulted in a full remission where I'm better, where I'm free of cancer, and and in a space where I can just live life to the fullest and not worry about, revising wills and, ensuring that the house is in sellable or marketable form. And, that all of that can kind of be gone from my awareness. And yet that's not the case. So the transplant was worth it. To be 85% cancer free is an amazing bit of progress, yeah? But I still have cancer, right? I am not in remission yet. And I am reminded by dear friends and colleagues, sometimes it can take time. And so I don't have any negative. I'm not pessimistic. I guess I really haven't ever been pessimistic. And yet I'm also not a Pollyanna. I have gone through some very strange experiences that have led me to believe that perhaps life was shorter than my desire. But even with that, I don't need to sort of, fall down that bunny hole. I can simply be present to the moment and really just try to take each day as it comes. So with all that being said, bringing it all back to now, as I said, a lot of those interactions start with inquiries into how I'm doing. And some of my interactions are all about, my myeloma and my experiences and all of that. And in as much as I do find it difficult sometimes to answer the questions honestly, I do that, and I try to make it mutual and move on to asking about my colleagues and friends and family. Um, you know, as soon as they have their fill just my updates, I suppose. And yet, I am back to work on a part-time basis so that I don't ask too much of my body, and I allow myself to get my passion fulfilled. I love working with my clients, and so I do what I can. I take the breaks I need. I love what I love, and getting here for the birth of this baby has been really an interesting shift in that journey, because it really is all about my daughter and the baby. And every moment has been, attempting to serve her, attempting to serve little Asher by preparing his room and his parents' room, and just really ensuring that this home is as inviting and functional as it can be, and that my daughter has everything she needs. And interestingly, I was struggling a little yesterday, and I noticed my bones are a bit more brittle, and so I have a crack in my wrist, and I've been using a brace to help it heal, but the brace gets in the way, and sometimes things hurt, and I sit and I can only get down to the ground one way because I have a knee that's bone on bone. Right? I have a lot of physical ailments, and the cancer chemo makes me thirsty, and right, nobody needs to hear all this, right? I mean, it's a big drama, whatever. But those are not things that I, generally speaking, speak about or have been asked about while I'm here. And I noticed, yesterday that I was sort of hearing that internally, tonight I need somebody to hear me, that I need some caretaking. I need to feel acknowledged. I know how much I'm appreciated. Boy, it not only goes without saying, but it's also, I get thanks and appreciation a lot here, for how much I'm doing. So it's not that. I think it's a different version of humility that I'm coming to. The space in which the perspective and focus has shifted entirely away from me. And, last week I spoke about balance, and I think I'm ready to touch on that again. I know that my life, especially on my cancer journey, is really out of whack right now, because instead of seeing clients 3 days a week, I'm doing it 2 days a week. So the days are a little longer probably than they should be. But it also allows me the time I want and need for my daughter and the baby and the house and all of that, right? So I also know that part of that is an emotional balance, perhaps, that is not being managed. And I do still get inquiries and love and attention from friends back on the West Coast, and I don't even know how to describe the feeling that I wish I were in a body that could do all of this without symptoms. I wish I were in a body that could do all of this without pain and discomfort and fatigue. I wish I were in a body without meds that, really mess up my sleep. But that's not where I am. I'm in a section of my journey where all of those things are true for me. And, sometimes getting down to the ground to put on light cover, socket covers or whatever, I cry out in pain because it hurts. And yet it's not about me. This journey is not about me at this point in time. And so I feel myself being careful and cautious to sort of silence that. And I know I don't have to, but I want to. I want this to be all about my daughter. I want for this to be all about the baby. I want this to be not about me. And yet I am about me. I live in this body that has myeloma, and it will only allow me to move so far without my attention to it. It's a very challenging space. It's not like I can fix that, right? Right, I actually can't. I could opt to do more for myself and less for my daughter, but that's not who I am. I could opt to leave the rest and just say to my son-in-law, like, well, you'll just have to do the rest. Except that he's on this journey too, and it's his first child, and he's, I'm sure, a bit panicked now, and that doesn't feel right. And so it's these spaces where I go, 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 and then I say, now I have to sit down for a break. Okay, now I'm ready to get back up again. Okay, go, 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 go. And it's a shorter amount of time, right? Now I have to lay down for a break. And it's what I'm able to accomplish so far. But it's maybe not as I would have it. So the wisdom that I have gleaned both personally and professionally is, again, about balance. Sometimes in leadership roles, we forget that we live in a human. We wear a human, and the human has boundaries, and we have to adhere to the boundaries at some point in time. Otherwise, it bites us in the right. So we as leaders, we need to be present to our teams, our families, our communities. We need to be present to what they need, and we need to serve. We need to be giving and loving and extend ourselves outward, but perhaps not without attention to that inward journey. I notice that each night as I'm trying to fall asleep, if I can't toss and turn and get myself to sleep, I do go to prayer, and I try actually just to listen to God. I let myself, right, do the prayer piece first, which is like talking. And then I take a breath and I listen. And often it's when I'm listening to the answers back that I fall asleep, that I finally give myself that TLC, and I allow myself to receive that level of comfort from the divine. So if you are in a position where you've been giving, remember balance. Remember to open yourself to receive. And even if you have no human around to feed and nurture you, to comfort you, remember that there is another source of nurture that you can gain comfort from. This is Wisdom Wednesdays. This is Dr. Sage Breslin. And next Wednesday, I might even be holding a baby and trying to tape at the same time. I guess we'll find out. All right? So have a good day or evening wherever you are.